Hello, good evening, and welcome, Free Enterprise fans. My name is Dathus. I'm here on the mic with my good friend Deathlike, and we're here for you for your Friday night Free Enterprise race. How you doing tonight, Deathlike?
Good. It's a hot night, like any summer night. In the eastern part of the U.S. But I see a particular thing going on today. It's your boy.
It is indeed my boy. I am here for the entirety of the Kain's Redemption tour that we have going on here. It is a reprise of our Monday flags, and I am a big fan of them. We see here we've got Kain, we've got Cecil who's going to be paired with him, and we're going to go and find us a Rosa. The light party members, and you are hoping to find some Tier 2s or some Tier 3s on the overworld, depending on where Rosa's hiding.
I think it's a very specific flag set. You have to start with a Kain. You will always be paired with best buddy DKC, and at some point when you stumble upon an event, like a gated event, you might actually find a Rosa. So yes, that's I can't actually. It's gonna go a certain way, but hey, I like. At least it's not kind of locked behind C Hero, as that is I would almost expect that to be the case on this flag set, but because I would not be remiss to say I would actually like to see Kain's good best gear show up.
Oh, absolutely. The only problem is the fact that it is not specifically Kain Hero, so we will not see any of the super smiths for him. So we're really hoping to find like a defense sword soon for him, or even a white spear or a dragoon spear. Specifically dragoon spear I think I'd want to see, just because it's Kain's weapon. It's really strong. Its accuracy is very middling. It's something we were talking about a little earlier on, before we officially got in the broadcast. But I would love to see him shine, and I'd love to maybe find a light sword for Cecil. But with the fact that we're looking at T Wild-ish with no real restriction, you're gonna find some Cecil goodies. And I know that every runner who is just starting to go off right now, it's Kain and Cecil. Who would have guessed? Even while giving you a very useful Leviathan. But as I was saying, I'd love to see Cecil just strike 0 on all like the X-Cows, the crystal swords, everything like that.
It could still happen, but I don't know. I'm hoping for just a Kain weapon start, regardless, because lugging DKC around, I would call it, because Cecil is not going to be very useful until we do Modern Deals, and we're guaranteed to do Modern Deals given this flag set. So it's I mean, we could skip it, but then you just have a paperweight, which, since we're not tethered to any anchor, we could in theory actually have DKC as our anchor throughout the scene if we chose to. But I think it's especially with the small number of characters that we have access to, might as well try to make the most out of them.
Indeed, and Plumeria is striking a little bit of gold. We do have here, I think I saw a lightsaber actually on Sexy Finder's side. Baron already having life pots, so that's all the goodies you're going to need to get through some struggle fights. But we have a little minor divergence. Super Sexy Flanders going to Eblin. Again, I think that was a lightsaber I saw, so the sooner we get up that Nonor Deals, the better for him. But going through the left side, not spiking any trap chests is really good, whereas the rest of our runners are starting to loot and really spread out now. We have Plumeria joining Flanders, and Fiery Blizzard doing a watery pass dive.
I think if you do a quick dive of Castle Eblin for anything, if you have one side that you just a section, like there's like 3 major sections where you don't take a fight, I call that a plus, because you get to save it, and you might still come back, but I would call that probably more valuable than the waterway trick. The waterway isn't half bad, but you're not guaranteed the best gear, but you're still most of the way there. So I don't know, it's a worthwhile gamble either way. You just need Kain online, so that's the kind of the aim, regardless of which way you go on.
Indeed, and I don't know if you saw that, but we do have Ace-1 the Siren that we have access to in this seed, so that could be really good. We have a Siren that was in Watery Pass paired with that Gungnir. that Kain is gonna be really, really strong for the entirety of the overworld because that's what we basically classify as a quote end game weapon for him. It's given back to him after the giant, so you're very happy with seeing that. You're also not happy seeing a very free boss in a free location though. King Queen Evelyn sitting on top of Hobbs.
I mean, well, you can peak to peak, but you're not getting a Rosa on Hobbs no matter what. So it's actually on this based on this flag. You just skip Hobbs outright. There's no reason to. You're only getting these three characters, and actually it's really just two characters because Kain is the only one to start, and you only get Rosa if it's on a gated character. So so you get the hook. The Evelyn check would be a perfect opportunity to get roses. So basically any character check you're gonna do, if it's not gated behind some key item, it's probably not worth your time because you already have the DKC in your team.
Yeah, the nice thing is all the knowledge that you're getting from the boss checks there too. And as chat mentions, we are on a D-Mist hunt, so that's the nice little benefit we got there too. Unfortunately, no D-Mist, but we have these imps sitting here in the A cave, Antlion's cave. I'm at ninjas, we got long swords. There is no edge, but we will take those cabins.
It's money. It's all it is. It's all the money you'll ever need in the seed. But I think you can't actually buy sirens and apples if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
You can still obtain it by the other methods, but the treasure. But you're not, since there's no edge in the seed. Period. They're just you. I mean there are a few places you can get sirens. I mean you could hope it drops somewhere on the Tower of Babel from the lower end, but really you're not doing any egg grinding. You're gonna kill things and get experience. That's the way to go.
Absolutely. And speaking of killing things and getting some experience, we do have if a bull is being taken over by Kainazo, this is the wrong castle, my dude. I'm gonna call you Mario today. But a dancing dagger found by Judge Joe, that is honestly better than a Gungnir at this point, because that's really solid damage for our boy Kain here. And yeah, Judge Joe just throwing out the J items, tossed out a Grimoire, which rolled a Titan, and a Kamikaze just quick done, because you don't need any XP on this DKC. He's just gonna be gone shortly anyways.
It's that void of XP for a character that's not long, but hey, it's that Party Rock. That's maybe get some good loot. Might be worth getting to, but I don't know if you've already got the gear. Although I don't, but given that there was the dancing dagger, probably more incentivized to try to look for that gear from the Party Rock, because there are if you've only picked up a dancing dagger, you want something better for the long run. Gungnir really gets you, essentially, I would call it 92% of the way there, because it's 92 attack power. The best weapon is, at least I would also agree with you, would be the Dragoon Spear. 99 attack power, of course. There's our slightly stronger Defense Sword being 105, White Spear being 109. So, but really, 92% of the way there is the Gungnir Spear. So that's the way I prefer to classify that particular item.
You know what? I never thought about it like that. I'm gonna have to start stealing it right now. But speaking of stealing, we do have Fire Blizzard stealing a very slow victory here, just using those Thor Rages and taking out this Kainazo. The other thing about that Party Rock, one, that is a required objective. So that is going to give us our second objective with accessibility to Judge Joe, considering he's also defended Fabul, getting that one out of the pool there. So that is also 16 shots at a T Wildest chest, looking for possibly a crystal sword or any fun goodies there.
When the treasury isn't gated by treasure level, like that kind of unleashes the power that place can be. If it were any other, if it wasn't T Wild or T Wildish, it would it would be let's say a disappointment most of the time. So this is when you have the opportunity to get the best loot you possibly can, I often look for that place, especially we've gotten terrible loot up to this point. It's like it starts to become place number one for, hey, I want that upgrade and I want it now.
Indeed. And speaking of place number one, didn't things we didn't do immediately is we want to do a big shout out to those who are working behind the scenes today. We have Arlenor running on our tracking, and also big ups to the fact that we have NG Dave joining from the tracking and commentary booth. He's cutting his teeth first time doing restream. He's going to be the one bringing us the show, and he's the one rolling this very, very quick seed. And I foresee shenanigans, considering Fire Blizzard is going to show us just how generous of a treasury he's showing. But there's also, that was only a blue robe, but it was a quick one. That was back attack Water Hag. That could have been way worse. But treasury rating time.
I saw an Avenger. It's already a good game.
And yep.
Yeah, that was the best kind of loot that Kain could ever want. Avenger could also be put on Paladin and Cecil, but that was a Kain treasury. If I could ever want it, the Gungnir, White Spear. You didn't even the Gungnir was just for show and tell. But the White Spear, if you wanted the extra upgrade, or the Avenger, that is perfect Kain treasury. If I ever saw it.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely what it is. It was just like everything was getting better as we go through. It's like Soma drop, cool. There's Kain MP for Kain, so we get that meme going. And then it's just like things aren't good. Gun in your spear, cool. If you didn't find the watery pass, well then now here's all this other stuff. The pair of life staffs there was kind of entertaining too. But yeah, this was all sorts of good. It was like, oh, Blizzard Spear, that's nice. White Spear, okay, no, now this is really good. For this rating though, it's probably closer to about a 7. Again, still hoping for a Crystal Sword or some variation thereof for your boy Cecil. But aside from that, you can kind of just throw the Avenger on this Kain and you don't care about anywhere in the overworld. But we do have Stupid Sexy Flanders getting through the fight, and we have a Baron Key sitting in here on Mount Ordeals with the Paladin that we're really hoping for. And the real question is, the boss fight in the mirror is Leviathan, so nice, easy fights overall.
Well, what can you say? It's so free. Like I mean, usually sometimes some trips to Mount Ordeals can trip you up, like a early Val or something that could ruin this party day. Even although Cade would be the solution, but Avenger Cade would probably maybe at this stage not be the most advisable to some degree. Like you'll still need some. Sometimes you need a little bit of control on Val with Kain being fully controllable. So I think this, I just found D-Mist. That's as the second fight after Viking. So that's a nice freebie, and it's even spicier.
Oh, that is indeed a very spicy Baron Inn. That does give us access to the moon. That is one of our gated character checks. But we also have Judge Joe going up Zot with that Earth Crystal and saying, yeah, I gotta go and cash in and see what we get. The big thing is whatever is behind this Flame Dog chest, because we could get very lucky and we could spike a holy weapon for Cecil. But regardless, if this is another Avenger, I'd be very entertained. Artem's arrows.
It's something. It's something for Rosa. That's about that's all. That's all you're getting. I think. I almost think that going to the moon, probably checking for impossible moon white mage might be a thought. But there's the
boy.
Yep. I think what we really want is actually hoping that completing Towers Up will get you Rosa, as there's 2 chances at the character you want. So it's just, I think it's at times they were just doing Zot outright and not even thinking too far about this. But we're gonna start the virus phase, and that might be dangerous for Judge Joe. It might be slow, but the virus is still painful.
Yeah, the magic stat there, like not only the fact that the D-Lunars in their script set their magic power, if you're going to be doing that, you set the Avenger for the White Spear. That way you get the Holy weakness. Unfortunately, you don't have the Holy and Undead weakness that the Crystal Sword has, but 4 times damage is better than 8 times damage. But yeah, the problem is we haven't gotten any levels, so we are very, very weak at this point in the game.
I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure D lunars are actually weak to uh fire. Not holy isn't actually their weakness. They're undead, but they're not weak to holy. So the damn right so having a more controlled output is why is which is Judge Joe's plan is Judge doesn't trigger the virus phase. Any physical punch, even if it doesn't land, it's gonna trigger that phase and it's a very dangerous phase to go through. And those Cure 3s, I don't know where this was picked up, but it's sure coming in handy, especially given the low magic defense spot and them being undead makes those Cure 3s very, very useful. Not expensive, but probably like super useful heals used for offense. And that's a rare trade-off that you want to get through, but just to speed this up, it's probably worth it if you've bought enough.
Absolutely. And with the money that we've got from our start, plus honestly the treasury, as well as everything else, you can afford to throw away a couple of thousand gil in like heck, even almost 100,000 at this point in cure threes on this fight, because what else are you going to be using the money for in late game? Like look at the money that Judge Joe has right now. You can easily sacrifice a fair amount of gil just to force you kind of brute force your way through some of these fights. Speaking of brute forcing, we have Fire Blizzard going up the mountain right behind Plumeria as Flanders gets through Fabul to get the Earth Crystal, and we have Cecil guarding our secondary character, but we know that the secondary boss in Dwarf Castle is going to be Dark Imp, which is not going to be a good time for that Kain. He's going to just rip through him, and a Vanilla Rosa.
I mean, at some point, Rosa has to show up, it works out. This is Kane's dream scenario. This is exactly how Kane envisioned it. See, DKC guarding Rosa. That is Kane's lore, and he's gonna embrace it. Everyone else can imagine something else, but that is Kane's wish. So this is and it's playing out perfectly. I don't. This is not revisionist history. It's the seed we're playing.
Absolutely, and also throwing a bit of a bold move in the sense we just said, okay, we've seen the fights we got here. We're going to throw that Avenger back on Kain. We still haven't seen a couple of the auto attacking like that. You're not happy to auto attack. One being the Orbs boss here that you could find. Additionally, being we still have not found DKC. And if he's in the spot like here, it's Plague. You know what? Never punished. Never mind. I'm not even going to go on my tangent.
Well, in this instance, if you started with say the Gungnir, you swap the Avenger, you inherit the same properties of the Gungnir while being berserked in the Avenger. So that would make this fight go a little bit faster. But I mean, it's still gonna go fast enough. But I would still like to, unless all the auto fight like anti-Avenger battles go away. Sometimes I think it's safer to have like just kind of Kane using a non-Avenger weapon and then swap as necessary. Just for safety, because you never know, especially with the required gold bez on the docket. You don't want Avenger Kane eating up turns, doing nothing of value.
Yeah, definitely. But there's a lot of value to be found there, and that is a plague that goes down nice and quick in a very can be spooky location with just 3 characters. But you are very happy to see that fight go as quickly as possible there. The real reward is not only the Rosa, but the exit we're getting along the way too, because that's going to be very beneficial. And Plumeria and Fire Blizzard also seeing the goodies and running up there. I did not see what Flanders got from that trap chest. I did not realize he was fully diving and clearing out here. Oh, and there was another white spear inside Evelyn as well. A lot of goodies we missed out on the early looting.
I mean, I think Flanders having delayed his trek did at least a trap chest or two. So it in having Paladin and Cecil, there's kind of a secondary benefit for doing that as getting Paladin and Cecil up and running on top of probably the light sword that was also picked up in the same dungeon. So it's one of those hey, I want my TKC, I want my Paladin Cecil online. So the timing of doing that instead of like deferring is certainly a valid decision, and one that has a secondary benefit of getting a Paladin Cecil online with a few levels.
Oh, absolutely. There's no bad way of attacking this early game seed, because the experience here is nice and all, but you can kind of put it in the background and leave it to just like be there. What you're really getting the benefit of is like you said, the little bit of levels on Cecil here, and just where he can become a little bit more of an oomph than what is a paladin versus a Dark Knight. But yeah, we do see the joys of throwing on that Avenger and then not being fully ready for it. These D-Lunars, when not handled the most efficient way, is not a good time. They are jerks. Is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I think you when you're doing this kind of in vanilla, D-Lunars, when you have Crystal Sword, it's pretty much one shot, one kill type of deal, but that's not the weapon setup we have here. It's just not. I mean, I like mindless Avenger swinging, but there are just some battles you just can't. You have to have some level of control, or the fight can go out of hand pretty quickly. And D-Lunars tend to be one of those, especially early game when you don't have a Crystal Sword or just something strong to take on those D-Lunars.
Absolutely, and yeah, we see the power of what utilizing jump can really help you with Judge Joe having just plowed through the Zot checks and our runners. Again, we all love seeing holy weapons go burr, and we love seeing Avengers, but sometimes you gotta do the jumps and you gotta just do a little bit slower a fight. Like a jump was doing what, about 1,000 damage. Even using the item, you're doing about 800. So yeah, you're not doing damage fast, but it is a very safe strat. You're getting it done, and as long as you nuke them down equivalently, getting through this 9,000 HP is going to be pretty good, especially with the stack of Cure 2 potions that you have. Speaking of, Flanders is getting through. Definitely found that light sword, because that is an 8,000 damage hit somewhere. Where was the yikes?
It's the Crystal Sword. I don't know, but
Oh, you found one?
Yeah, and probably in the Evelyn trap chests. I think he did actually do some encounters, so that's where the actual burr is coming from. So Flanders has his Cecil practically online with Crystal Avenger, or although probably Kain will benefit from the Avenger more because limited weapon pool. But still, the Crystal Sword is a game changer oftentimes, and whether or not you have an Avenger at any given time, Crystal will do work on practically everything. There's still a few bosses that it's less effective on, but it's hold A to win, please.
Yeah, and the nice thing is even if you just want to not do the fight like that, or if you throw that off to the side, you can just, before a fight, reset out quickly and get yourself just the Avenger straight on, so that he doesn't have to worry about the crystal weakness or the holy strength that some enemies have. But yeah, it's Cecil and Kain are both set up to success with the different weapons we have here: holy swords, holy spears, Avengers, Gunneers. This is now just very, very clinical for a lot of the teams, and just figuring out, hey, where are we attacking now with the strength that we have? And the honest answer is anywhere, really, because you've got levels. You even have the ability to go underground and pop a siren if you fully looted, even did a little bit of a dip into Watery Pass. So that is a big amount of levels. and with that curse ring that's there too, you have all the goodies just waiting for you, and it just like the seed is just opening up.
I don't see much use for the curse. I mean, I think at least although it is kind of ripe, but still early that if we wanted to at least in for they probably Stupid Six in Flanders, he could probably just put make Kain take a nap for the rest of the seed with the curse ring if he so desired. Just I mean, you have the Cecil's best weapon, and you need an anchor, and Kain could at this point can be the anchor if you like, because you need a white mage because you need the healing, or the exit. Oh, not so much exit, but at least exit for a little bit before Cecil gets online with exit. That's a choice, but I don't think at this point. I mean, the cursed ring, it's at least nice backup if and when you need it for a certain boss fight, especially everything on the table like K Moon, K Summon, K Main. That curse ring will certainly come in handy. I don't know when that was picked up, but it's gonna be invaluable.
It was in the Watery Pass, so that's where we currently have it as the only location at the moment. We may find another one later, but yeah, we are really, really looking. Basically, right now, we're looking for a Luka Key and a Golbez, and we are done with this seed because we have a lot of just things kind of real quick, pow, pow, pow. But the big thing that'll come up now is with so many things just kind of run at you, what is going to be the most optimal checks to do now? You've got so much open. You have the entirety of the underground. You have all of the moon, which we can kind of take some fights. I know I say that when Rosa has like barely 300 HP, but you give her a couple of hundred more with some of the armor she's got in the back row, or you even have Cecil just straight cover her. You can take fights that you don't think you might be able to right now. We've got a lot of strength.
I'm thinking, at least for the runners, maybe more boss prefer checks with a key item gated, like say. So maybe if you go underground first, dwarf looks a lot more appealing because you're still looking for actual Golbez. Although we do know the dark elf is at the Golbez spot, so really Golbez is at large. So I think we're just trying to peek and look for spot looks just kind of check those spots outright for the most part. Like you're still looking for. I mean, worst case is we might be looking for a hook, like maybe Golbez gated in the hook route for all we know, and that might be not the ideal place to be looking for a Golbez. That that might be something to kind of consider given what's left. So probably just look for key items and kind of maybe with a nuanced look on boss hunts.
Yeah, it's the interesting fact that we're just like, it's where do you go from here, and which choices are going to be which boss. Like you said, what boss hunts are we doing, in what aspect? And Plumerian Knight actually looking like, since we found our Rosa, is now doing his best to make sure we just keep that Kain down. So we've officially found Plumeria's anchor in this Kain.
I think it was a fight where Kain didn't get XP, so I think that might be instead of Kain doesn't really need the levels. Cecil's gonna do all the work, so that's fine. Once you found the Avenger, you're 90% of the way there anyway. So it's once you see the Avenger after doing the Earth Crystal checks, Kain is kind of expendable for all intents and purposes. So this that's a decision, and it's fine. You can do it now, you can do it later, but in Plumeria's case, I mean, now is a good time as any.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The sooner you stop feeding Kain experience, obviously the better is what you really want to do. But the big thing is Judge Joe is our first runner, 27 minutes, and we are underground with that magma key, going straight to Baymarch. Do your required objectives, do your freebies. But Sexy Flanders has decided, hey, I'm here. I just got dropped off a Baron. let's take care of this this Baron key as well, which I'm a big fan of. Just get things going in logical order.
Not the boss looking for, but it's super free given that spot. As long as it doesn't get down to crunch time. But when you have a crystal sword, you just hold A to win. No worries.
Hold A, use Avenger. But yeah, and we do see Baron is full of kind of like easy bosses. We did see the evil wall that was our starting key item giver, but behind it is Bahamut, which is nothing really to worry about for this Avenger, as we've mentioned. Just going and just absolutely making easy work of these bosses, and we shows the power of this Cecil.
Yeah, I think Blenders are probably, to be thorough, probably will just at least peek the basement. Don't care for the character. We've already picked up the Rosa, and it's fine. It's fine. The extra Cecil, duplicate Cecils disappear into the ether. It's kind of once you picked up your characters, even though all those characters show up in the Tower of Wishes, we can't allow dupe characters in our seed. So and that's a vanilla twin.
And you know what? I'm always a big fan of a little bit of vanilla. But the question is, what do we have here in the Baron garbage can today? Do we have goodies, or we do have a key item here though? Question from chat. Joining late, what shenanigans hath my flag set brought today? From Jay Brunter, who is the creator of this flag set. We have found a crystal sword Cecil. We found Rosa in the Earth Crystal, which had come from Fabul Defense, and we are here. We're now really kind of just looking for Golbez and looking for a Luca key because we found D-Mist hiding at Baron Inn 2. A lot of running around and a lot of goodies as we see here. Speaking of goodies, Flanders not finding the boss he wants, but that is leg of some variety being full leg today.
Yeah, well, at least check to see which variety of leg before resetting. Dr. Luge, kind of being a nuisance now, but being a little underlevel for Judge Joe is not probably gonna get those punches will hurt, and then there's an explosion, which especially with this early, not exactly the most leveled party is gonna take another loss. there Cecil goes. So that but it's gonna be at least one character will stay alive and will be poisoned immediately after.
Absolutely. The nice thing is when we do get Cecil up, we do have the Avenger on him, so it doesn't really matter what happens. We just do kind of hope that he does not get Avenger glitched, which that would be a big shame right there, that he comes back up, gets glitched, and then can't do anything. But this is a fight where, unless he lasers you, is not going to end. Throwing up the Star Veil means that Luge is going to do nothing but harm himself.
Yeah, except the laser has the boss bit, so he can't hurt himself with it even when it's reflected back onto him. So it's one of the caveats of being Dr. Luge, but it's fine. Really the nastiest attack is laser, as it's based on his HP. It's actually much stronger than wave, but concentrated damage. So as long as he doesn't get hit by it, for the most part, it's good. That's actually the only really threatening spell of all things. And with gas, will kind of interrupt things.
Yeah, that the multiple gas casts mean that they're going to be asleep for a little bit, but because of the way that Luge is, he heals everybody after he poisons them and puts them to sleep. Says, "Nope, wake up. We're going to keep fighting." So it's a nice little wake up call that everybody needs.
It's one of those times where if you almost wish you had a ninja hat. Just with this fight alone, this Doctor, the Doctor, it's like kind of it's like we lovingly call him Doctor Dialogue because he has things to say, but the thing is he's not very threatening, but he's holding the team up and did an effective job on slowing down Joe, but still not no match for what Joe's party had. So that's certainly good. But wow, this is the slowdown team slowdown one orb right next to it. This is probably skipping that orb. I don't see that orb being taken on, in at least in any near immediacy.
You could, because you do have access to back row on both Cecil and Kain, because we did see some dwarf axes there. It's slow. You get the HP work, but it's a very steady fight. All you really need to do is toss out some Cure 2s with Rosa between shooting some bow and arrows. So it's not even really that bad. You can get through that fight with very ease, with just a little bit of patience. Especially with Stupid Sexy Flanders might take it because he has the crystal sword, but that's really about it.
It's the thing of it is it's about trying to kind of take down the fight, and Kain, I mean, naturally with jump, avoids a lot of it and while buffing damage while in the air. But yeah, like if you don't have like a strong party just to deal damage, then it's a slow fight, and it's never a degree of difficulty. It's how long did it take you to deal with the CPU, and that fight has always been slow. No matter, I mean, there are methods that are usually on the table that would speed it up, but we don't have rocks available, or even Quake Kid, so it's a lot of those a lot of things kind of off the table, and not the first thing you think of when you think of CPU is fast. They're fast, and you're gonna be. It's just a slog. In every which way.
Speaking of slogs, we have Plumeria taking one of the trap chests that he finds down here in the Feymarch. A lot of people have started to see just how kind of not scary the fights down here can be. So it's really refreshing watching people just look at it and go, this isn't as much of a problem as I thought it was going to be. Meanwhile, Judge Joe is taking on the two fights here. The first of two in Dwarf Castle being the Baron Guards. We haven't really found, aside from mute arrows, haven't found very effective mage killing enemies, mage killing weapons.
I thought I saw Elven Bow somewhere. I don't know who if it was picked up, but there was some. I'm fairly sure there was an Elven Bow picked up somewhere along the way, by one of the runners. So that would probably be a solution, and because Elven Bow pretty much makes any. It doesn't matter who you're fighting. Well, it does matter who you're fighting, but any mage. It makes any of your just combination of bow and arrow become mage killing weapon. So the Elven Bow is very strong in making anything mage killer, and it's a very kind of a sneaky strong weapon in and of itself. So that is I don't think I saw Rune Axe at all, and that would be beneficial for both Cecil or Kain. And I don't think I've seen that on the table so far.
Indeed, we have not just yet, but we do see something of Flanders being the first one going up on the moon. Did not see who our lunar character was, but gets that out of the way and says, you know what, now I know where this all is, but we are coming back down. There's a lot in the overworld that we have open right now. Rosa on the dais, so as soon as we cleared out Baron, we really had all the ways of our oyster for finding ourselves a Rosa, between the Earth Crystal, just going straight up to the moon and getting her ahead of time. It's all Rosa everywhere. So very NGD is being very nice to us tonight with all the locations to find Rosa easily. Whereas Fire Blizzard also joining and bonking Yang on the head with the pan, and double check to see what item we got here, while Judge Joe finds our third Rosa and gonna be taking out this Dark Elf.
I think Plumeria has a rune axe in that. If that was able to be glitched onto Cecil, that would speed up the fight significantly. But mute is actually the problem. Getting, especially with when just since no free bosses isn't enabled, these guards are kind of harmless with their counterattacks when mute is applied. So so many other things can be done with J items like coffins if we were able to find any. I don't think any were found, but it's fine. The guards not too bad at this spot. I mean, they are kind of punchy because the Calbrina is a scarily punchy doll. So the guards were kind of slowing things down. So I don't think we have any like mage like defensive gear like a rune ring or Aegis shield that would have reduced the punches that were being dealt.
Unfortunately, no, not to that. And also, another unfortunate thing is our pans are both complete zonks. We had a Murasame into a Blizzard J item into a white shirt. So that's the nicest thing of it. So you do have access to getting that white shirt to give Rosa that better magic defense, along with the silent staff and life staff that we've found so far. But yeah, aside from that, this is kind of a little bit of a key item drought now. We do have a few places left. We do have the tower to maybe find a vanilla tower key into something else or into the Luca key. But we're starting to run on the idea that we may have to go and clear some spots on the moon for some key items here, or we might have to fight that CPU.
I mean, depends if you want a haunted moon. I think there will be runners that would try to fade moon as much as possible. So fully clearing the overworld and underground is would be a priority. So I think the bulk of runners will probably try to stick around, find and maybe even do keyless tower, just to get that out of the way to just avoid the moon outright. So I think CPU, but probably just take on the CPU at least, and not peak. Some runners have not peaked Feymarch, might just do that after dealing Dr. Dialogue. So I think there's a pretty good chance we'll have some full clearing until there's nothing on the Earth to do until we're forced on the moon. I think and unless someone will make that play and just go dive the moon outright.
Absolutely. There's just so many different places you can go, and you do want to really save a lot of that moon experience, especially for when you have a few more key items, because that is where you're going to be getting a lot of your grind. As we said, there are no sirens. You're not going to be doing any D machines, so you're just kind of looking for what can I do to get some experience. You're going to save that moon for when you're getting double experience. That's a huge influx of it. But speaking of the things that are huge, that is a lot of HP sitting on top of a Pale Dim on the top of tower.
I mean, outside of being reminded of the song of its people, Pale Dim it's pretty non-threatening given this party's long.
Oh yeah.
And so this is I think it's a pretty tame fight. As long as you just have to just eat the HP, that'll be fine. But without the Crystal Sword, Judge Joe is be a little slow. But having the Artemis arrows doesn't really matter too much about the bow. Will be super effective. I think if the Artemis arrows picked up from I don't remember, but that was certainly a pickup. And having a lot of kind of dragon bosses. This Pale Dim being one of them, Wyvern being another, plenty of others on the table. This fight will be quick, even though everything's going a little bit slower.
Yeah, the really nice thing is the only elemental that we have is a holy weapon, which Theoden doesn't really care. He only really worries about the three primary elementals for resistances. But something I didn't notice our first time here in that we have in the Fey March, we have access to our Bacchus wines. So one way or the other, this Z fight is going to be one character drinking wines, one person using an Avenger, and just all sorts of goodies. I think I also saw that top of tower not panning out in a good item. That is a sand ruby. Whether it's a rosa or not, kind of a dead key item right now. But it does help towards the 10 that we're looking for here, and that puts Judge Joe into 7 of 10.
I think from in Judge Show's case, there isn't anything else to do here. You can't even. We don't have the hook to turn on the rat tail, so I think that means it's time for the moon. There is nothing. I mean, K trap isn't on, so we're not looking. We're not going to trap chests for key items. The pass is at least enabled in this flag set, so as a key item, so that we can find. But haven't found quite yet. So there's still much to do, but it's time for the moon, I think, and we're gonna. Although probably there's, we haven't done. We hasn't. Judge hasn't done the Baron key to do the pen, but we know that the pen isn't leading to anything outside of it being another key item towards our 10 to get the double XP.
Yeah, and the niceness of again of the white shirt. But yeah, there's two more checks we don't know anything about before we go to the moon. As was mentioned by our tracker, we do still have Ruby, and now we have that that CPU fight. Those two, I think, with the power level that we're at now, I would be tempted to do CPU first, just so I can leave the underground completely alone. Know that if I come back, it's literally going to be either for tower key or my objective. And then I would do Ruby just so I could say, okay, overworld is completely clear. That Ruby fight, not really that scary in the sense that that you get a little bit of magic defense, like some of the Dragoon gear we've seen, and you can just kind of let Cecil go attack, or even let Kain use the Avenger with that Blizzard Spear that he has.
Yeah, I'm more tempted to just jump with Kain, but a Berserk Kain Blizzard Spear sounds like lots more fun. Just be wary, kind of being wary of the spot that Ruby is in. The Onan spot has quite a significant bit of spell power, so the fire to counters become more threatening. Yeah, the dragoon equipment is certainly really powerful. I think probably the best heavy gear, even I would rate slightly above most of the crystal gear that you can get for Cecil. But I'm not sure if we've seen a protect ring, because that is the only armored for mages to have fire protection. So it's looking like Joe is going to be taking on Ruby before even thinking of the moon. So but Sumeria seeking the moon because hey, there's Judge has to do the thing first. Of course, that's can't talk about doing Ruby, doing the entirety of Baron first.
Yeah, I 100% see. Just like you gotta rip through all of that which is Baron before you can kind of go through it. I'm a big fan of just like completely clearing out the overworld before going the moon. The moon has a density, like the density that you're looking for of key items right now, but you just clear out the ones that you know you can completely empty, ones that aren't going to be like waiting for you in the back of your mind, so you're not like, oh, why are we going to why you forget about them for later, and that could be a problem. It could be something fun hiding there.
I mean, I've had moments where I faded something intentionally only to completely forget about it. So it won't be the first for runners, won't be the last. But I think when you're fading some of the harder ones, well, I wouldn't call it CPU at the Leviathan spot harder. It's just a slog if you don't have the power, immediate power. Like if you don't have a crystal sword, or even X-Cal, then that fight looks a lot less appealing. So I think for some runners who do have the crystal sword, they're at least more incentivized to take it on, versus the our runners who do not have the crystal sword and are doing and look at that fight. So I think just not having the weapon is just that usually dictates whether you take on that fight or not.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like, again, they still fear the magic power that's there, even though it can be a little bit weaker than normal. Speaking of weaker, that is not weak in the sense that we have ourselves we have ourselves the Kaipo guards sitting here on Bahamut's throne. Those are going to punch real hard, but I do see that Avenger going to be put into good use in Cecil's hands, taking no damage in the back row. Kind of looking for a swoon proc here.
I think that was trying to be free, but didn't quite think that through. Maybe because you need to lead off with an hourglass, and I don't think we have a kit that provides the hourglass. I think we just have the Baron kit, which is headbands and karates. Pretty much, we'll get you an attack multiplier for all of our characters. Which is great, but very. Not very defensive at all, though. Those are very weak gear. So, but certainly can be worth a pretty penny when you sell some of it. I think even the headband, is boosted in cost just because the value of the headband is not just in the strength boost, but the charm protection, which is it's like you don't want your the strongest character swinging their weapon on you every so often. So that other than that, looks like we're trying. I think Plumeria trying to kind of leave it to a manageable. Trying to do a glitch with the assassin dag, which is interesting choice, and already gaining from it.
Indeed. And speaking of gaining, we are seeing that Judge Joe is learning just how evil the Baron, that Rubiconte can be, and actually went and took the fight down there before fully clearing Baron, so he's going to have to go through that all over again. That's a little unfortunate, but it kind of put my words in my mouth and my foot in my mouth, because I said, Rubio isn't really that bad. 1700 damage from the double punch and 900 damage from the glare when you barely have 1000 HP. Ooh. That's a little scary, but not as scary as the fact that Cave Bahamut, completely dead key item, just there to burn some resources and get some experience and give you our Stardust Rod.
Yay! Stat sick for no characters. It happens. I mean, we've seen a lot of katanas lying around just for a ninja that won't appear in the seed at all. So that's unfortunate, but that's okay. It's I mean, that's why it's called K value. Sometimes you won't get any value from it, and sometimes you do. Today, there is none. That's okay.
That's not true. There is value in that cave for somebody who's not in our seed. So there's value, just nothing that benefits us right now.
There's definitely many ways of looking at value. So, I think Plumeria is looking to do hairdryer's just to get the XP, and not a bad decision, especially with these kind of lower level character that it's there, but it only needs just a Avenger swing and pretty much will do most of the work. And you know what, the 3 characters, you can put them on the back row and back row glitch them, as the glitch is enabled. So good. The only thing that will allow Kain to back row glitch is a dwarf axe. I'm not sure we've seen one of those yet, but that is the thing. That's the only weapon that allows Kain to back row glitch safely.
I have seen some. I do know that we've seen a couple of them around. I forget whose inventory I saw them in, but yeah, there is a couple of goodies here. But speaking of goodies, remember I said we didn't really have good mage killing gear? Hello Asura in a very speedy spot in the Mirasame altar. So you're gonna kind of want to throw a couple of walls up on that and just go. The Plumeria Knight getting through that, getting some bonus experience. Didn't see the item we got. It was a little too quick for me to swap back when I was looking at it.
Probably wasn't worth any talking about, but the Cecil has for Flanders has a rune axe. I think I've seen at least a shop or two that had Star Veil, so that might have been a play because Rosa to learn you need to get to level 34 for Rosa to be able to learn Wall, and she's not near 1k HP, so she certainly hasn't learned Wall yet. So it's one of those fights where Avenger probably not the fastest way if you don't have Wall. Probably need to go aim for the life lock strat, where you want to attack Jura when she has her purple face, which the purple face casts life 1, and life 1 does nothing for her. So, yeah, being a wasted turn, but also allows for some work to be done on Jura as a counterattack kind of moves the counter back a little bit, so she can go back to using life 1 again. So it's a tricky timing thing when you're trying to use life lock, and it's one of those times that going any Avenger on this fight would be very reckless unless you're doing over 16,000 points of damage, so that Cure 4 stops working.
Yeah, but big heads up from Flanders. Not only did he take that rune axe and Avenger glitch it onto Cecil, he then threw it on Kain, used the Bacchus wine, which resets what item he's got equipped, and that gives him double rune axe for the price of 1, and that is some big item right there. That is a Luca key. That is exactly what you want out of that chest right there. Ooh, big find from Flanders.
I just like just picking the Murazame spot. Underrated spot. You usually just exit out of it, or you can walk your way back. But I always love that one-off spot, just because you can save a lot of time. Sometimes it may be to your detriment, but I find it most invaluable. I think Maria reset it out of the double dragon spot. Probably one of the stronger monster chests in the set, if you ask me. The double dragons very difficult, mostly because the blue dragon is the hardest thing to take down, and the red dragon is the stronger of the two. It is truly a double dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very much a pain to fight. We do see Plumeria, though, is going back in, going right to that Asura spot, and yeah, also going to be rewarded with the Luca key in swift time. Flanders doesn't care about the rest of the moon, says, you know what, I don't care whether the bosses are here. I'm on one boss hunt. Let's get this key item out of the way. And I absolutely agree with this, because this could be so good. If this is exactly Golbez here, Flanders has a big lead. If not, we do have the possibility of anything else on the moon leading to it. And we do have a lot of gating items left. We have the tower key, we have the package, we have the hook for the whole hook route showing us where Golbez is. We also have the twin harp. All of that out in the wild.
Yeah, I like when the moon gives you a key item, especially on a kind of I would call a one-way trip, like kind of like K value. That is invaluable. You have opportunity to do other things, and when you get that key item, you might as well take advantage of it. Do your objectives as it has been said before, and if Golbez stumbles on, that's perfect. But it might not happen that way. But it might be key item with the various key items, on the table. You might as well, because there's a pretty good chance of the key item. You won't get that many more key items on the moon, and with moon having a limited subset of spots for key items, you're probably better chance that something connected with the at the end of Sealed Cave would get you there. So I see that there's certainly a lot of value here, and hoping this is Alley. Oh, keyless tower, not having to worry. Although probably I think Flanders did do tower, so it's fine.
Yeah, we did do tower, but yeah, that Rubicante is definitely showing to be a little bit evil here. This, oh my lord! Oh, you know what? No, they had better defense here. I've seen a high magic spot here doing some really wild damage, and I saw a magic attack. One of the scariest things here has been, before they change it, a full party white, which just absolutely ruined your team. But even we see the nukes coming out fast, furious. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage you're not expecting.
Right now, I think Flanders is looking to re-anchor the situation. This is yeah. Look, Kain is now the anchor. You because we don't have vanilla agility on anyone. Anyone in the highest priority spot is going to be the anchor. In this case, the middle spot is typically is spot number 1, and Kain currently is in that spot, so he is the anchor. So this is trying to slow that fight down significantly, as you don't want to take nukes to the face, reflected nukes to the face. So with this in mind, I think we'll probably see some Kain jumping just to put that nuke possibly into that void, as if the reflected nuke targets Kain, it disappears. And I love this. I love the magic trick just for the novelty of it, because especially with the spell, even though the nukes will be controlled by the spell power of the battle script, it's like the spell multiplier of like 3 or 4, typically 4. You don't want to take nukes, especially with the levels the Flanders is having. Even if you have decent magic defense, you're probably going to critical on Cecil, and probably instant death to Rosa. So you gotta get Kain jumping at every possible turn.
Yes and no. You also kind of want Kain down, because you need him to do exactly what he's doing right now. You need him to get those life potions going, and yeah, we see here like some swings from Cecil. Not a lot. Like, there's a lot of HP, but when you're swinging for 2.5 K a round, it's not, quote, as bad. It's still questionable, but all you need to do is get Kain to a point where he can just make things work. And yeah, as you see, he just, Cecil rips through things. Kain lifes up Rosa, just so we make sure we have people in the team to still take those nukes who aren't Cecil. Like, you're okay with Kain being nuked, you're okay with Rosa being nuked, and just like getting them up over and over and over again.
Yeah. Damage dealer needs to survive. So yeah, the more targets to be nuked, it's kind of it's kind of like a roulette. You don't not quite a deal, but then again, you just need someone to just take the blows. It's fine. But at least slowing down the fight significantly by making Kain the anchor, it certainly paid dividends. So just simply on making the Wyvern not take so many turns, and that's the value of anchoring. You just always need to find a way, usually with a cursed ring, but there are alternative means of slowing down characters. I mean, if there's a Drain Spear in the seed, I'm not sure if we picked up one or found one in a shop. Drain Spear would be just as powerful as on Kain on -10 to all stats. That is what you're most particularly just -10 to agility, and that's what you're really looking for. As the Cursed Ring, -15 to all stats is the most valued anchor making piece of equipment in this game.
There was a Drain Spear for sale in Baron, I believe I saw, because I think it was theirs where we saw after the key being used. I can't remember who showed us that, but I know there, and there's just there's some other goodies there too. But we had all of our runners doing the exact same checks and fighting this Asura quick and finding this Luca key, and it's paying off. Like, doing the top down check, which is really interesting, because I know a lot of people will sing praises to middle out versus top down for the density of key items, but doing top down is really paying off for the the Asura into Luca key. And this tower key is going to dictate how valuable this is. Not fully not fully valuable in the sense that it's a nice twofer, but getting this out of the way and knowing that this is completely dead leaves you with two last places to check. Rubicante still, and the orbs that are sitting in the Fey March before you have nothing but the moon left.
Maybe a good divergence. For route, in terms of purposes routing, this is probably a good time to do this, since a lot of those boss fights were faded, just because there's this. It's Ruby is it's easy to see Claire wrecking everyone, but the CPU, I mean, at this point, isn't quite the same threat it was because by this time you've gained a few more levels just on fights alone. So doing something like that may be worthwhile. But I think right now Flanders probably hoping that this is a key item check that is getting something worthwhile, because because if there isn't, it's doing those boss fights that were faded or going back to the moon, and avoiding the moon as much as possible is always a thing on the table.
Yeah, no one wants to do as much of the moon if they have to. Again, right now, 10 key items is where you're going to want to maybe the D-Lunar spot for some experience. But aside from that, you're just like, no, I don't want to fight these spots here just now. Get some experience later. Not a key item you want, but a key item you like to get progression. But it is very much a key item you will enjoy if you have to leave the Earth until later. For example, if you come back for that Twin Harp or for that package to find our Golbez, you're very okay with that. Also, I completely forgot the boss hunts. Who wants to go check Giant?
Flanders heard you apparently, saying, "Hey, why not?" I think the gamble is real. I think this if Golbez is in the first spot, that is a win, even if it's the highest HP spot ever. But the power in that spot isn't going to be the threat. Although Plumeria just found out Lit 3, if you don't have elemental protection, is an easy wipe. So that was unfortunate, especially with the split damage reducing from 3 to 2. Just math being what it is, it hurts a lot more when it's more concentrated that way. So yeah, with I think Flanders didn't have the same problem because there was 3 targets, and if you divide things into 3 versus 2, the damage isn't as significant. So yeah, so sometimes there's a value to having a character alive, even if he takes a wipe to the spell itself.
Indeed, and I like the bringing character up and just get the heal and a little bit. What I also like about what Flanders is doing is this is a check that a lot of people say is like, no, the Giant is slow, it's out of the way, you don't want to do it if you don't have to. Especially, you know what? Hey, how about the grind we were talking about needing? That is a 8 key. No, that's a 10 key item. No, it's a 9 key item grind. So yeah, knowing where that is, I would definitely leave that and then be like, you know what? We'll come back to this later. Let me get one more key item, come back, and then you and I will talk about that, because that's your grind for Zeromus right there. That's to make sure you have so much experience on your characters for when you go to fight Z.
Yeah, I think some of the runners, I think Plumeria, one of them, had wanted to take some of the trap treasure chests just for the experience, not so much for the loot, because I think the looting part is not as important at this stage. It's more for I need my characters to really be online, and I need to fight to take on it. And Alt Gauntlet being really slow, but will provide the XP you'll ever need, especially at Giant and runners. Only Flanders of our restream runners know, but that's a place to get that grind. So kind of not having the 10 key items is kind of the discouragement for just to completing that. Double XP get get you to Z ready levels immediately. Not having it will probably still get you to Z ready levels, but probably not as it's not the same value as you normally get. So I think just at least knowing about it will make that kind of trip back to the giant a lot more palatable. So yeah, just one key item. Unfortunately, that like one key item that was picked up was the pass, which is not really a key item that counts for the double XP, but there's value, and we'll be coming back to it. So we'll see where Flanders goes. Oh, don't completely top down.
Again, I really like this because again, it's a lot of people go middle out, and top down is one of my favorites because it's just what way to get to take care of this, and it's you want to clear the moon so you don't have to worry about it. And I'm a fan of this concept because you just need it done. You just need the moon done. Don't think about it and just go. But it is also a big gamble because the density of the checks are further down. If this needs to not exactly be progression, but this needs to be kind of worthwhile. This needs to be a key item at least. I'll take a spoon or a pink tail at this point, but I'll take a Golbez and Crystal Sword instead.
Top down pays off this seed, but not Flanders not ready, not exactly ready or happy with that setup. So going to set up for the Harem Robe for the paralysis protection, trying to get a character free of the restraints, as it were. So in order to get some well-needed turns to get some Star Veils or Moon Veils up immediately. So this is just more of a set because not like surprised, more like didn't well surprised in the sense, but more like need to just get ready for this particular fight. Try not to set up in an optimal way to deal with the battle more effectively.
Yeah, probably just resetting because he wasn't sure, or to get things set up. Yet Rosa, again, the loveliness of the heroine robe means that she is not paralyzed, can get somebody up or even toss up a berserk on somebody depending on how the demolish shakes out. Goes on Cecil, you're not too unhappy about that. Res him up and everything will be fine. Get berserk going on Kain, and it is going to be just overall a good time.
Yep, with a white spear, and I think Flanders has the crystal sword in tow. So have perfect weapons for smacking Golbez with. So that's not a problem. But the life potion selection not going his way, unfortunately. I think it was earlier. I think it was Plumeria was fighting the hair dryers and trying to use the life glitch and using the life staff. I think that was picked up at some point. Life staff is not actually life glitch compatible, as it retargets and it does you no favors compared to a life potion or the life one spell. So it's one of those special caveats you got to be aware of when it comes to the life glitch.
Yeah, there are certain items that just take and are completely okay with targeting as they are, but staves being one of the ones that retarget or will just straight up miss is a little unfortunate. But that is stupid sexy Flanders getting an Excal for his troubles. The other half of Forge, that is our 10th key item as well. So you got everything you wanted. You got a 10th key item. You got yourself a Golbez kill to Zeromus. And you are going back to the moon, back to the Earth, and we are actually very much ready to just go and take this boy on. Yeah, no, you know what? Says I know where my grind is. We're going with the giant.
I mean, we're better than trying to gamble on trap treasure chests from the LST. I mean, seeing that Double Dragon was on the table, I think this this is a safer grind, relatively speaking. So this is Flanders found kind of decided on the grind. This is it. So not um not not too shabby, and you get a free heal before the fight. So that's one additional benefit from doing this grind here.
Indeed. And we're looking at Judge Joe's side. We do see the Mom Bomb. Anyone on the moon here, this is a sort of feels bad because it's an additional 10,000 HP you got to chew through. And he's going through very quickly. We have Cecil and Kain kind of just swinging away and making... Well, Cecil swinging away. Kain's... Look, oh, there it goes with the Blizzard Spear. Getting good hits, about 2.5, 3k a round. So will rip through the bonus experience, the bonus HP when she raises up before the explosion. So not really, as we talked about here, nothing really to be too worried about. The entire way through, though, Fire Blizzard is getting this pass too, so we'll be fairly well rewarded for following that Asura check all the way through.
I mean, it's not the worst thing to get the pass when at the end of a check. Kind of, it's one of those like, hey, it's not the thing you need, but hey, it's the thing you kind of wanted, and it's. I mean, you would, and you're following the kind of the result of the objective. It's, it's not the worst thing. And oh, there was a reset on that. So not having control, especially with certain fights on that come with it. I believe there's a solo D machine as one of the fights, if I'm not mistaken. So this one
there is.
Yeah, that can be dangerous because because the primary counterattack is flame and the fire, and you don't want to be burned by that. But there's something to be said about having more control over your characters than less control. Although but I think it's maybe just trying to maintain some control over. I mean, eventually you want Cecil to be Avenger glitched, but this is these early fights are not worth the time. And I think Kain is not joining in on our XP bonanza though.
He probably is. It looks like we're going to be just going with a triple. Oh no, you're right. That was a kamikaze being used, which again does the job. Good amount of damage there. I am a big fan of just in general letting Cecil and Rosa do shenanigans and get the healing going. Yeah, Cecil swinging 3-4 times just to knock out a giant. Not exactly the Mac giant grind you want, but it's the one we're gonna get today.
Oh, we're not doing a true Mac giant grind because that is an interesting grind in of itself. Because you have if you have the giant gear, you can also have a mech killing gear. As actually, it is both giant and a machine. Mech giants, red giants, I think are just giants, which is kind of strange, but hey, it's whatever. The mech, but they're definitely not a threat against Cecil's blows. It's all that. That's all we're here for is Cecil swinging the best sword in the game. So that. And a lot of it being mech giants, it'd be nice if there was an Edge or a Yang here, but no. Cecil's doing all the work. So Rosa's gonna heal, and that's most of the work done. I think Fire Blizzard, is a Siren, because I think this seems to be a fight, just fight taken just for the XP itself.
Yeah, I agree with this. I like this on Fire Blizzard's side, because even without the life glitches, with the amount of damage that we have, and with the arty bow and arrows, which I don't think it looks like he had on, or had something on Rosa. What did we have? Oh, it just had the mute arrows on. Yeah, with arty arrow plus this fight here, this is a good, quick infusion of experience, and especially at these levels that we see in here, you're gonna want that. I'm a big fan of this, and this is the 1D machine that we were talking about here. This is where Rosa is going to be keeping Blink up because it counters with very, very strong punches. It just does nothing but fire. Like its regular attacks are fire, and then its counters are those really strong punch.
Yeah, and the biggest caveat: it's not a machine. Yeah. And Rosa.
Exacxies on Rosa.
That's RNG for you. That's fine. The machine will die. Cecil will be out of his berserk state because he's not using the Avenger, just using a berserk crystal sword. That's fine. Rosa not gaining experience. That's the least of your problems. You want Rosa to take most of the experience whenever possible. But one lost fight isn't the end.
Very smart use of this Moonveil here.
Yeah, I think mech giants don't do anything special unless if you use lightning, it tries to use I think it does like a beam or something back to you. So for the most part, it doesn't do anything special when you're punching it outright. So there's no worries. It's pretty much in hand, I think, and have Cecil will actually be Cecil's berserk. I thought he was not. Oh, he's not berserk yet. But the free cover didn't actually need to cover Rosa because it's automatically going to happen because she's crit after being revived. So that's probably didn't need the blink, but it's whatever. It's fine.
Comment in chat, she uses magnet as a counter to bolt magic, so yeah, you really don't want to do that, but what you do want is you want to just enjoy these free Cecil counters. Yeah, it's going to take him a couple of extra hits to get through this fight, but it is with all the safety here. But speaking of safety, this is not safe whatsoever for Judge Joe. It goes through and finds on the Mirasame altar. That is a Dark Knight Cecil, has the Avenger on. So, unfortunately, you were going to be going through all that HP, but those Dark Waves, they tickle. And if you're not getting Rosa to get turns fast enough because of turn queuing, unfortunately, you just want to eat those three of them and just kind of go.
Yeah, the Masa altar, probably one of the technically strongest altar because Ogo is there. Ogo usually punches, but giving all that power to one Pain Man, Dark DKC as your enemy, as your opponent, is a lot of damage. And you see that damage. It's not the top tier. I think they're probably a little bit stronger spots, like probably Bahamut and even.
Oh yeah.
For a bit higher, but as a normal punching spot, this is the highest normal punching spot you normally face in vanilla. So
but it's you're still looking at Leviathan and Cave Bahamut as where the highest stats are. So that is where you're going to get the strongest shots. And Judge Joe, getting the manipulation of HP recovery and everything perfectly fine, gets through these three shots. Only has Kain, Cecil alive, and you know what? You're okay with that. You just want to get through. And you get a package for your troubles. Not what we know it's nothing good, and I say good with quotations, because it's not going to be required to get through the rest of the seed. But Flanders does grind 1. Let's see what grind 2 has entail though. With the second fight is back here.
Well, there's even more XP here. I mean, the spot with the orbs. Antline, nice. Only counters with its special attack, which only has only a singular spell multiplier, even regardless of the spell power at the spot, but still inherits the high damage, high attack power, even though the CPU never punches you here. So it's a strange spot given what you would normally see here. So. But it's fine. Rosa probably could go down to a counter, so we'll need to actually be manually healed. So it's all queued up. That Antline being super aggressive and takes down this. So that's unfortunate, but that's fine. Well, Rosa will revive him. That's fine. No problem.
Yeah, this is going to be something that's not going to be a big deal. We have a Life 2 going off, making great use of... And again, the strength of the hits, if you're not fully ready, that fight, like the physical power there is really, really scary. And you're just wanting to, not be happy with what's going on there. Did use his one and only Moonveil to get rid of that physical worry. But this is a fight that's not... that's going to be great for XP for him, but it's a little bit of time being bled. But we do have Joe also on the right path, as well as Fiery Blizzard. They're all kind of nipping now at Flanders' heels. he's utilizing this grind and getting the experience he needs, and I'm very curious as to like, I guess he wants to feel a little bit more comfortable with the amount of HP that Rosa and Cecil have, like over 2100, just to make sure that they can just not even care about big bangs, which I kind of agree with. It just gives them that much further safety in this Aromas fight.
Yeah, Z safety is a thing. With the fewer characters you have, you typically want just more levels, more HP, wherever you can get it. So this makes a lot of sense. I think the grind really is more for Rosa, because you strongest big bang can hit around 2700 tops. So having that safety net, although you have reaching over 2k is usually good enough, but I think that, but the fusion, considering you have all gauntlet and the CPU spot, that's a lot of XP. You just can't say no to. It's hard to, and getting white means you're pretty much there. It's a pretty safe fight. Those two characters are more than enough. Even with Kain taking a nap, it's just fine.
Yeah, and we do see that we get through there, fully through. Flanders finds yet another Cecil that we have in many spots in the seed, and he's getting through this last fight. That's the experience he needs. I really foresee that we are about to go see what Zeromus is cosplaying as today, because that is more than enough HP to get through. Anything over 2300 for Rosa is not overkill, but it's very much a nice safety net, and it takes her from I am very strong and I'm going to be okay to you just don't worry at that point, because even a 9-roll big bang with max damage, I think with half decent geared Rosa won't do over 2200-ish, but yeah, 2400, she's gonna laugh all day long at this poor Zero. Like, I feel bad a little bit for what's about to happen.
I mean, it's a dose of burr, and more burr. Most and burr comes from just berserk. Making your attack damage, mostly attack power, increased by 50%, and that's pretty significant. And when all their turns are taken up by essentially hitting automatically hitting A for attack, that's all you're looking for. It is that time of night. If you're wondering, why are we seeing all these Z flags? It's time to go to bed, right? I thought, oh no, it's that time of the night where we fight Z because hey, we like Z to cosplay all the things. That's what a randomizer is for. And I guess Deathus, I guess I'll let you two ask the question.
There are a lot of questions we like to ask when it comes to our boy Zed Romus, or because it's Zed in the upper country. But I think the most important and most eloquent ways a lot of the people that I know say it is not why are we kicking butt, but something butt, or whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Hoping for a surprise.
Speaking of surprises, I'm really a big fan of the fact that Fire Blizzard and Joe are taking trap chests in the moon for experience, and we have ourselves a Porymus, Poryngomos. I don't know where this is from, but the first thing I thought it was actually Digimon.
I wouldn't know. I recognize them, but I don't know the ref. I don't know from where. It's like I've seen it before, and there's just so many. There's so many things that come where our references come from, and whether it's from a game or a comic or something.
Cat is saying that it is from Ragnarok Online. That's where I would have remembered it from. I dabbles way back in the day, but that was a long time. I don't want to talk about how long ago that was. But yeah, no, that's not fair. Look at the damage. 6.5, 7k, like 8.6. Cecil, calm down, buddy. It's okay. It's just the slime.
No, it has to. No, we've got to burn it down. Got to burn it quickly. A fire blizzard picks up an X-Cal from the treasure chest. I'm not sure has stumbled onto a holy sword, but if not haven't picked it up yet, is very well welcomed into that party, because hard to say no to X-Cal if you don't have the crystal.
Indeed. And speaking of crystal, yeah, look at that 5.5k damage shot now, consistent. We're no longer doing the high spikes. It's 6,400. We actually saw a big bang. I'm kind of surprised. We do get the black hole. We're probably going to go straight for. If we see rocks, I'll be kind of surprised. Well, the low hit kind of doesn't do it, but wow, no, this is a fast Zeromus. This is a surprisingly fast Zeromus we see here.
It's fast, but still relatively tame. Like when you're burning down Z this quickly, it's just it's not too long where we see rocks show up, and there it is. Some rocks, but that's fine. We're gonna it's only two swings away at best.
Yeah, looks like you were right. That was the last 10k that goes. We have a bang, we have a crack, we have a boom, we have no flashes because we have that turned off. And that is Stupid Sexy Flanders finishing first place on stream, first place overall in the race. We get the official race bot time in just a second, but we are also going to see if we can get him in for an interview, because that was very, very solid work for a Cecil and Rosa pairing with Kain. Doing some work in the early game. He did his job.
Yeah, that's all you're really asking for in this flag set. This Kain trying to carry the load, and then Cecil to clean off towards the end. And if Kain has to be on the ground for the fight, because he's going to be the anchor, that's fine. There's no shame in it, because someone better the anchor being really slow than an anchor that makes Z go zoom. I mean, we don't want Z to go zoom.
Speaking of zoom, we see the time there. It is 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 40 seconds. Very, very quick overall for doing as many checks with the low early power and the needing of a healer as we got there. Yeah, and we see that Fire Blizzard has gotten his crystal and is getting some experience. Plumeria Knight finishing up that last objective, 1 hour, 30 minutes, and getting his crystal as well. So we're just looking for some experience on some of the rest of our runners, and we're going to be literally off to the races at this point. Rosa with 2100 HP, it's a little under where it would just be like completely safe, but this is a very doable. Like, you are very fine with your levels right now, to be honest.
I think the thing that's a little under is really Cecil's level on Fire Blizzard's side. Kain has the right amount of HP. Cecil's kind of relatively under leveled. And Rosa having about as much HP as Cecil means that Cecil's probably just one fight to get Cecil really at Big Bang survivable levels. So I think but probably still be able to do it, but maybe more sensitive to being hit by a Big Bang though.
Yeah, and here's the fight you're gonna get it on. Like, in all honesty, just get some blinks up and then let the berserks fly. Behemoth's probably one of my least favorite enemies in the first place, because it feels like, oh, they're so fast, and then you find out that they just like to counter. Speaking of countering, we have some counters in Stupid Sexy Flanders joining us. GG's. See if we can't get him unmuted and joining us, but yeah, we will get a little bit of talking time with him. But Plumeria Knight digging a little deeper and finding some dolls. Oh, and we do see that CPU nothing but a spoon.
Hello, can you hear me now? Sorry about that.
We can. Flanders, GG's on your finish.
Thank you.
So, about that grind on the giant for some XP.
I just was like, why would I bother doing the moon if I know it's the gauntlet and I know I can survive and I can get some life glitches off? And then we'll see what the second boss is. And that was the choice that I made, and because I think the flags were no sirens, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And I didn't really want to take a bunch of chances with random chests in the LST, so my brain just went, "Oh, I know the gauntlet's there, and the gauntlet's not going to be that annoying." So I did it, and it worked out.
Indeed. So the big question I have about that gauntlet into Antline afterwards, if you knew Antline was coming up afterwards, would you have left everything as it was and like kept the Moonveil for Antline, or would you have still used it on that spot in the gauntlet when Rosa had gone down?
I probably would have used it for when Rosa went down, because the CPU spot just doesn't have that much HP. And that gate, and using the Moonveil there gave me the security to life glitch one of the Mac Giants, which gave me, so that was kind of my logic there. And yeah, of course, as soon as I saw the antlion, I'm like, well, this would have been really useful, but just a matter of if Rosa can still only take 2 punches from antlion without a, and still goes down, then, the Moonveil doesn't matter because the counters were doing 500 and I needed Rosa to get the experience there. So I guess I could have used the Moonveil on Rosa instead now that I say that out loud, but hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah, like I said, it's just different thoughts about the way you did things. Looking back, would I have done that differently? Again, you still played that very, very clinically. Did that very early Eblin dive to completely clear it. Got your White Spear, got your Crystal Sword, and let's just say that's just kind of how the rest of the conversation went. Like, you got your Avenger from the Troya Treasury, or from the Earth Crystal Treasury properly, and yeah, like that's kind of how the seeds seemed to roll out, huh?
Yeah, when I saw that Crystal Sword, I'm like, I definitely, maybe 1 or 2 other people will get that early, but like, I think I was at 10 minutes. It'll be an interesting to watch I always like to kind of watch these back and see what other people did. And I don't want to be spoiled, but I'm very curious if anybody tried to do ordeals as early as I did. Because I think once I had that ogre axe in my hand, I was kind of like, okay, I can get away with ordeals, because even if Val's in like the crappy spot that Val can be in sometimes, I still have Kain. I had a handful of Cure 3, so I felt pretty safe at that point. So it was just a matter of, once I get that Cecil online, we need to find a Holy Sword, Excal or better, and Cecil go burr.
I will say that you were the one who did it the earliest, and who also did both Antline and Eblin and the full ordeals check the earliest out of all of our runners. And yeah, it very much paid off in dividends. As you see, you were about 7-8 minutes, and we're just finding our second runner on stream into a Zeromus fight.
Okay.
But the big question I have an idea for. You went underground. I think, did you take one of the Feymarch fights? Did you take the one that was there on the right, or did you leave Feymarch entirely?
No, I did neither of those fights. Yeah.
So before finding Asura on the moon, or before really going to the moon to commit to clearing that, was there any thought of, did you give any heed to Feymarch, or is it just like it's there, we're leaving it, we may come back later if absolutely necessary?
I'm trying to think, where was I at that point? I'm trying to think, where did I find Luca? Luca was at Murasame, I think, so I really lucked out. I think I had the pass at that point, if I remember correctly.
No.
No. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to think. Oh no, I got the pass from Tower. That's right. Which was after Luca.
Yeah.
So I guess my thought was mostly, if Luca is there. I thought maybe I would do Luge. No one's gonna want to do that CPU fight with this party, I felt like, because it's clunky, like having to deal with the HP of the CPU, but then again, if everybody found a dwarf axe, then everybody was black row glitched. But I just didn't feel like doing it. It just seemed to be those two fights are very awkward and long, on top of being in two spots that I don't particularly love to do. So that was kind of my logic there, and I said, well, I don't have, and at that point when I first entered the Fey March, I didn't have the Luca key. And I was like, well, either I'm gonna come back with a Luca key and maybe I have to do these fights anyway, or I'm gonna last location. It was just, that I chose that fade because I just didn't like the way they looked. Now that you're playing the game, unless you're like on stream and used to talking to yourself out loud, it's like you can then say these things out loud later. You're like, well, I guess the CPU wouldn't have been that bad with Crystal Sword Cecil, but it worked out again. So, part of this is just rando is going to rando, and it just really, the choices worked in my favor tonight for once.
Yeah, you made very, very quick work of the seed. The Crystal Sword again, kind of just tearing through a lot of the seed. Rubicante being a bit of a pain down in Baron Basement, but again, left alone, no big worries there. The real question is what is your opinion on this flag set so far? Since is this your first time running these this week or second?
Yes, this is the first time running these. So I like the 3-party setup. Not having a black mage is interesting. I think I'm starting to feel like I don't need to see Cecil Crystal Sword anymore. Like I almost wish there was a flag that got rid of the Excal and the Crystal Sword. But I feel like that would force people in. And I mean, obviously with these three, like that's kind of taking a big chunk out of there. But I think that it becomes like once, I mean, you guys said it yourselves, once I got the Crystal Sword, that's kind of all she wrote. And that's kind of exactly how I felt when I got that Crystal Sword at 10 or 12 minutes in. I'm like, well, that's going to do a heck of a lot of work. And then I got the Avenger and I was like, okay. But as for the flags, I think this is an interesting set. Flags overall. I don't think the flags. I'm trying to think. I enjoyed them. I like the idea of lesser parties. I would almost maybe prefer more options. So maybe you have a limit of 5 and you can kind of switch people in and out for different situations. I think it would be interesting to make more use of like the Tower of Wishes and swapping. Overall, I like playing with like less characters. I think that kind of actually goes with my skill set a bit more. So personally, I'm here for this. So let's make a flag for no Crystal Swords.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only way we can get no Crystal Swords at the current moment is we just limit Cecil to be not appearing in the seed period.
Yeah.
But any other questions from you, Deathlike?
Only one question. So you chose top down. Is that your preferred way of doing it, or just happened to be the way the seed went for you?
After several seeds of doing bottom up and getting completely burned on it, I just decided to go against my typical instincts and do top down.
Welcome to the crew, lad.
Yeah, and it really paid off. I don't know what else to say about that.
It pays off. Yeah, it pays off when it happens in the Mura and everything just happens the way it did. But then again, Golbez also fit into it. So I guess the seed worked out, but I think the plan mostly worked out either way.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. Executed. Yeah.
All right, well, GG's to you, Flanders. Hope to see you when we run these again next week, and have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you as well.
GG's again, Flanders.
Thank you.
Flanders.
Again, that is Stupid Sexy Flanders' first place finisher, 128.40. We also had Plumeria Knight and Fiery Blizzard finishing on streams in 4th and 5th place. While we had the finishers as well, Roger McBain finished 2nd place at 133.36. Tall Grant finishing in 3rd place at 139.19. And as I mentioned, our 4th place finisher who just joins us in chat now, Fiery Blizzard, 140.32. GG's Fiery.
Thank you. There's a few other people you have to read off in the past minute and a half.
Oh, we'll get to them once we're done with our interview with you. Don't worry, we're gonna make sure everyone gets the love and fantasticness that we had here. But so that seed, you did not go into Eblin Castle, and you did not find that crystal sword because we saw you enjoy an Excal at the end. How did you like that seed with a lesser powered Cecil by comparison?
I purposely avoided Eblin.
Really? Why's that?
Did not want to play this seed with a Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil.
I respect that. You know what? You like Oscar from Monday. I absolutely respect the idea of like letting it. I'm assuming letting it be the Kain show with that white spear, right?
Yeah. Well, with the Avenger, really. I don't think I really took it off until I basically D-Lunar showed up. I'm like, I have no cure bots. I have no tents. I have a Cecil with 12 MP. All right.
So yeah, like that. Let's talk about that Troya Treasury, because you guys got access to that within about 10 minutes, and it was everything you needed. How did that kind of make you think for the remainder of the flags, the seed?
I made it solidified that I was never going to Eblin Castle to pick up the complimentary Holy Sword. And quite honestly, you see an Avenger, it's like, well, I can either play this to have fun, or I can play this in autopilot and grab a Crystal Sword from... and then just basically make it the Cecil show again.
Yeah, and you know what? You did a great showcase of Kain being very strong. He was still pumping out really respectable damage at the end there. I think I saw him hitting up towards about 3.5 on your screen, with your Cecil doing a little bit less than him with just the Avenger. Again, overall, really well done seed. Your fight got really spooky for a little bit. I was watching as we were talking with Flanders. I watched Rozo go down. I watched Big Bang go off, and you have 170 HP Cecil, a 500 HP Kain, and I'm just like, I know there's a black hole coming out because I think he tipped, but how were you confident still, like knowing that you were going to be fine, or did you notice that you had tipped into that second Big Bang, or just into this the tipped over refill HP Big Bang?
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't entirely sure whether or not I tipped over to Black Hole, but I figured it wasn't... If I reset, it would have saved 10 seconds, so might as well just wait. But yeah, no, seeing that first nuke go off on Rosa was just... like, of course it did. And Rosa got 0 dodge rolls on that nuke. It's like, cool, you have a white shirt and no dodges.
White shirt, life staff, protect ring, all the goodies. Nope, not happening.
I never found any of that. Must have been Eblin.
Probably. There's so many good items earlier on that it was hard to keep track.
I did Watery, and I did the first room of Watery Pass, and was like, okay, alright, let's go. Don't really think I looted much more than that in Treasury.
Indeed. So let's get to kind of like the meat of it, where we're starting to like really look around. I see you took a couple of fights of the Rubicante, and we did see the Fey March bosses. Was there ever any thought of maybe doing that CPU whatsoever, or was that one of those you looked at him and said, "Ha ha, we'll talk to you later"?
Yeah, no, that CPU was going to be a hard last. Certainly, it was going to be after the moon. There was just no way I was going to go through that moon, or I was going to do that before I got Cure 4 or Cure 3. Because I would want to Berserk on that, otherwise it's so slow. I never found a Dwarf Axe for Kain, so it'd be even worse. Because it wouldn't be, back row push Kain. So, it really was not thinking about that. The Ruby was... I could have done it. I kept a Blizzard Spear just in case. But I figured the Fire 3s, the Glares are going to kill anybody. And still no healing, so...
Also, thank you for being a hero of the people and showing us what the music was tonight, because, no one was finding that twin harp whatsoever. I am curious, what do we have today? It is Lively Town from Soul Blazer. Nice. Very good music. But so yeah, so we're going through, and we're getting to near the end game. For your last few levels, you actually took a couple of trap chests on the moon. Why do that as opposed to maybe another boss spot, or just like clear out the rest of the boss locations?
So the bottom of the twofold. The bottom of the moon was a mom bomb and dolls. I do
Oh,
confidence
that's
and hourglasses were at the hook. Never found the hook, so that was out of the question. So dolls was never gonna happen with this party. And mom bomb at a white spear gives you no XP. So my answer, and then there were the officers and soldiers out in Cave Value, but that doesn't give you any XP anyways. And so the question was whether or not I wanted to go to Giant, or because again, I was avoiding going for Sylph. I was avoiding going to Eplin Castle. I didn't really particularly want a Holy Sword. I was just like, you know what? I got Dragoon, and I got a Cursed Ring on a Cecil, and I got Arty Arrows on a Rosa, and an Avenger can do an Avenger thing. Also, I was like, you know what? Let's just do LSD traps. So I was really basically digging around until I got to show off the fact that, the whole combination between Dragoon and Cursed Ring, because we've talked about it before. And it took me 4 trap chests to find anything that did elemental damage. Except, I mean, I guess the Warlocks did, but they never targeted Cecil. So...
yeah, the Curse Ring and Dragoon Armor combo is very fun when you're going to be eating a lot of elemental damage. So, this flag set, how are you enjoying it so far? Like, and again, getting to actually show off Kain's power in the redemption here.
I was a little bit sad that there wasn't just a single Rosa behind the Giant.
Oh, we all were.
I mean, I purposely didn't raise a whale. I'm like, why do I want to do that? It's the worst that can happen. Oh, okay. I mean, no, it's interesting, right, to see a party 3 flag set like this, and I feel like the end of the seeds are probably going to be mostly the same because you're dealing with essentially the power trio, and you have to get Rosa to be able to survive a Big Bang because you're not going to nerf him, because otherwise you're just going to put yourself in even more trouble. Or you get Star Veils and somehow make your agility work. So it's not the Pixel Remaster, so you're not jumping over Big Bangs more than likely.
Indeed. It is a little harder to time, especially with the agility shenanigans you saw there going on. Deathlike, any other questions for Fiery?
Didn't really have any outside of I think the seed went pretty smoothly, other than the fact that you weren't looking for the holy bar. I mean, you were definitely making sure that Kain was doing a lot of the work. I mean, compared to the rest of our other runners, who I think Kain, for most of the runners, like Kain was their anchor towards the end, while you had your Kain fully upright and doing all the work, at least to much of his ability.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a serious race, I would actually, if this were a serious race, it would be hard to not go into Eplin Castle if you have a Cecil and T Wildish. It just is. So, in more of a community race where it's more relaxed, it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's play around. So I was glad to be able to do that, and glad I was able to eventually get through those D-Lingers. That was really the main problem of the seed for me, I feel. But with that, I do want to thank you, Deathlike, and you, Daphis, for commentating this. Arlenor for tracking, Dave for restreaming. Sure, I'll talk to all you guys later. And yeah, thank you for having me on the restream, and I look forward to, tracking, doing some behind the scenes work, and, continuing to race. So, have a good night.
GG's again, Blizzard.
All right, and that was Fiery Blizzard, our 5th place finisher overall, 4th place finisher overall, 2nd place finisher on the restream. We had Plumeria Knight finishing in 5th place at 141.06, who we are joined by now.
Hello.
So, how do you enjoy seeing Kain Cecil start and trying to find and look for the hidden Rosa?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like I think every spot is 50-50 between Rosa once you get to the restricted spots. So it's kind of like flipping a coin, I guess. Trying to find all those spots.
Indeed. So we get through. I'm not sure. Were you one of the ones that did go through full Evelyn clear and find the crystal sword?
I did not do the trap chests for in Evelyn.
Well, so we see we had a little bit less power, and Kain, although was given like everything he needed in that Troya treasury, though. We have an Avenger, we have a White Spirit,
Yeah.
we have like anything, a Gungnir if you really want non-elemental damage. How was it giving Kain the actual spotlight at that point then, and not finding an Excalibur?
Yeah, he's a great character. You know, his stats are on par with Cecil, so given the same weapons, he'll do just as well. It's just Cecil has some extra abilities, a little better early on, but he just kind of outshines Kain a little bit. So Kain getting the early game done for me was pretty huge. I thought I did that pretty quickly.
Yeah, so I think you were one of the runners that were trying a little more trap chests just to get more XP early on. I think you this Sylph Cave didn't had an unfortunate turn with the mobile and the dark trees, I think, and wasn't having it. They were just having it, and I don't think you had the tools to take them on as best as you could.
Yeah, I kind of thought that crystal armor should be good enough in the back row, but apparently the treants have too much attack. I don't know. Have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean they're mages, the secret mages, surprisingly, but yeah, they still punch. They even cast berserk for under certain conditions, but yeah, they do punch. So I don't underestimate monsters that not just can berserk, but and also make you take naps, especially when there's four of them, which is probably, I mean, if you have the two mobile chests, you probably were okay, but the quad chest, those are tough.
Yep, just underestimated that one a little bit. Tried to take on the lunar chest as well, and of course it was Bimmy and Jimmy, so that wasn't happening.
Yeah, I've been saying that's the hardest LSD treasure chest I think of all the trap treasure chests. You just unlucky to get that.
Yeah.
To get that one.
I was hoping for warlocks or even a behemoth would be probably doable.
I think any other questions for Plumeria Deathus?
No, you got what was necessary. GG's, my friend, and we'll hopefully see you again next week.
Thanks for the restream. Have a great night, everybody.
GG's again, Plumeria.
Again, Plumeria Knight, our third place finisher on stream, 5th place overall, 141.06. Microcorks finishing at 141.45. Tybalt finishing at 142.19. Judge Joe finishing at 147.43, being our last place finisher, but not last place overall, and we are joined by him. GG's. And while we wait for Judge Joe to say hello, we also want to say that our last place finisher, Guerin, 9th place overall, 149.10. GG's to, again, all of our racers. Very fantastically done by everybody, and very quickly done. Less than 20 minutes between everybody finishing, give or take. So, very close in a race like this.
Hello. Took me a bit to, I guess, get connected because, Discord things.
All right, let's talk about the early game of that seed. You're looking for your Rosa. Where are you hoping to find her, and how are you feeling about once you get that Earth Crystal and you just find everything that Kain wants for the rest of the seed?
Hoping to find Rosa. I mean, somewhere is good. Finding Rosa nowhere would be interesting, but still definitely doable. I enjoy seeds no matter what they are, for the most part. So, I Rose's location didn't matter too much. The early Earth crystal was definitely nice. Uh, felt like it rewarded the fact that I didn't actually loot at the start. But um, after my early mid game, I just kind of did a couple fights that didn't pay out and weren't necessarily fast, is what it felt like. Could have been cleaner.
Yeah, I think there was some difficulty with some of those early bosses, given what you had to work with. There were the D-Lunars early on, and a few other fights that weren't treating you so nicely.
Yeah, D-Lunars walked in with the Avenger, decided to see what the damage looked like, thought wasn't going to happen, and just unequipped the Avenger, and then I had 10 tier 3, so 6 of those, that fight was done. After that, my next kind of difficult fight was that I did the Dr. Luge, which was slow but not hard. The next fight I think I struggled on was probably Ruby, which never did go back to complete.
Yeah, the Ruby at the spot, I think probably with your levels wasn't ideal. Like Ruby with all that power, or the punching power, but also that with the glare looming. I mean, that spot, Ruby at Odin's spot is really tough. So
Yeah.
not surprised if you didn't really think about it the first time, and it's just. Yeah, that's a tough fight, no matter, especially given the advantages of that spot.
Yeah, pretty much. First time I walked in, that wasn't necessarily who I was expecting or hoping to see. I was set up with an Avenger Cecil, but I did have a guaranteed solution 100% way through that fight, since Kain's was never taking fire damage. That meant he was guaranteed to be able to get one action, throw up a Moonveil, equip the Blizzard Spear, drink a Bacchus, and sure, it wouldn't have been fast, but I would have been able to get through it first try if I chose to use the Moonveil, which I never did use the seed.
Oh yeah, that Moonveil, when you have it so early, there's so much value that you can have, and could have been an advantage. Although of course that Ruby, I don't think led into anything of value. But yeah, if that was the thing, then you certainly had the tools. I mean, the treasure is just so valuable. That early the seed. I mean, that was
the same arch because I had when I did, because I'm like, oh. Yeah, Cecil's level 1, but Kain's kind of RA1 with that Rosa's agility. There's a decent chance I'll be able to just, on some of these fights, just drop a Moonveil on Cecil and just do a cover strat Cecil, but neither of the bosses were ones designed for that, necessarily, so I still had the Moonveil.
I don't think I have any other questions. Dathis, you had any other questions you want to ask?
Nope, just GG's and well raced, my friend.
Thanks. I hope I showed a couple different strategies than others, and hope it was a fun watch. And thanks for putting on the restream, and hope everyone has a good night.
Yep, I think everyone enjoyed it, and GG's again, Judge Joe.
Thank you.
And with that is going to do it for us for tonight. However, do not despair, good friends. Two things. Reason one is that tomorrow we do have our tournament preparation club race at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on Free Enterprise. That is going to be shown one of our new clubs that is basically going to help some runners. If you've ever been a little worried about tournaments and want to participate, but you've been like, oh, I'm not sure how, we've got some racers who are going to showcase good ways and how to work around some of the classic flag sets. I don't know exactly which one they're going to be demonstrating this time, but probably one of the Zima zones, is my thought. But as for now, we are going to be taking you to a good friend's place. However, that is not all of it for tonight. Tonight, Deathlike, can you tell our friends where we're going to be taking them?
I believe we are going to send you off to Flurry, who probably just started the stream, so we're not sure what he's going to be running, but I'm sure it'll be another fun free enterprise seed because there's plenty more seeds to be generated with so many other flag combinations you may or may not have seen tonight. So it'll be a blast one way or another.
So what he's actually doing is he's running the ladder redux async, the push speed jump one specifically, which is Hotel Whiskey Charlie Golf Juliet HWCGJ6. If you guys want to give him a follow, again, give a follow to our restream team that we had here. We had Arlenor doing tracking, and Edgy Dave, his first view on restream, hopefully not his last, doing absolutely fantastic. And my co-commentator here, Deathlike, as well as all of our runners that you see on stream. Give them follows, likes, loves, as we give some love to Flurry. All of you here from the restream team, y'all have a wonderful night, and we shall see you tomorrow.
See you all next seed. Anna, join the Discord if you haven't joined already. Watch all the shenanigans happen.